But first, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is standing by her decision to sit down with American media personality Tucker Carlson. In the same line she's repeated since the events were announced, Smith doubled down today, saying her ideologies don't always fully align with the people she speaks to. Carlson remained at the top of the trends on X all day as he proclaimed to have liberated Canada.
Al freaking Berta, baby.
American media personality Tucker Carlson had thousands of Albertans cheering and clapping at his shows in Calgary and Edmonton as he talked about things like his love for Canada and the extremist Great Replacement theory.
If you change the population of the country, you change the country. And you dilute the voting power of the people who are vested in that country, the people who are born there, who have lived there long term, who understand the history and the culture of the country, who are bought in. And all of a sudden, their vote means much less. It's math. You guys do that. Math.
Carlson, who was booted from Fox News last April and has since launched his own Tucker Carlson network, delivered a short speech where he opined on a range of topics and people, and obviously, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was one of them.
I know that in Canada, it's official policy that coming out of the closet is good, unless you're the Prime Minister, but he's like a ridiculous figure. Like, you should dislike and resist Justin Trudeau and his government to the maximum extent of your ability. But before you do that, you should just laugh at him until you can't breathe.
Carlson is well known for pushing untrue ideas in his home country, notably that the 2020 election was fraudulent.
It's well known, well documented that the guy doesn't tell the truth. He's admitted it himself. He said things that are demonstrably false, but still people seem attracted to the message, and they seem, not only do they seem to be attracted to it, they believe it.
Turns out that he also has untrue ideas about Canada, that kids in BC are being given fentanyl, and that children are being castrated by their therapists.
If someone's giving fentanyl to your children, what's kind of the message of that? Well, they're trying to kill your children, obviously. Oh, you're going to take my kids away because I don't want to castrate them.
There was an irony to last night's presentation, because one of the things we heard, a big theme, was this idea of truth, how important the truth is. And it almost felt like satire coming from someone like Tucker, given his career, given what the world knows about Tucker. But there it was, and it wasn't satire, and the disconnect didn't seem to bother this audience.
I think the bulk of people there who were there to have their beliefs validated, right? Like the same reason people would watch Tucker Carlson or listen to Danielle Smith's radio show.
Carlson was also joined on stage for a conversation with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith. While Carlson attempted to bait her on more dicey topics, she kept her discussion with him mostly focused on energy.
America has become the largest producer of oil and gas for export in that same period of time, while all of the politicians have said they're going in the opposite direction. So I think we should just double down and decide we're going to double our oil and gas production, because they're trying to dictate to us how to pull our resources out of the ground, how to manage our natural resources, how to manage our electricity grid. That's what Justin Trudeau has done. So I'm trying to get him fired, and I would love your help on that.
Despite not endorsing some of Carlson's statements last night, Smith's critics say her simply being there has fanned the flame.
Her lines since the event was announced was, well, I talked to the CBC and the Tyee and the Toronto Star, and I don't agree with their reporters, right? What's the difference? And she gave this sort of justification for having an event like this, right? She addressed the controversy, saying that we need to have these debates among perspectives that we don't necessarily agree with, and this is a huge part of democracy, to have these discussions among people with differing views.
I do think diverse perspectives are important, and you can have a political perspective that maybe I don't agree with, maybe you don't agree with, but the problem is when it's rooted in misinformation that does real harm, especially when I think that misinformation is so polarizing and so harmful to particular communities in Canada.